Hello, we are the Global Outreach Work Group of the Massachusetts State Student Advisory Council, fighting for better world language and English learner education throughout the Commonwealth.
Today we'd like to share with you our recommendations on how to improve world language and English learner education across the Commonwealth on all levels.
But before we jump in, we'd like to introduce ourselves a bit. I'm Katherine Nessel, a recent graduate of the Pioneer Valley Chinese Immersion Charter School in Hadley and Chair of Global Outreach.
I'm Matt Capone, founder and former member of Global Outreach from Westwood High School.
I'm Andrew Horton, a recent graduate of Needham High School and this year's Communications Coordinator.
I'm Cecilia Prefontaine, a recent graduate of Old Rochester Regional High School in Mattapoisett.
I'm Nick Park, a recent graduate of Bishop Fenwick High School in Peabody.
I'm Emily Figueiredo, a rising senior at Hudson High School.
And I'm Alhana Wakar, a recent graduate of Fitchburg High School.
Together, we are devoted high school juniors and seniors who will work tirelessly to improve world language and English learner education in the Commonwealth.
Performing under the auspices of the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, or DESE.
We've used many outlets to have a thorough year of research.
We worked closely with leaders in the Office of Language Acquisition, or OLA, within DESE, having monthly check-ins to closely coordinate our efforts to build off of OLA's efforts.
We had thorough discussions with other education leaders to gain a sense of where student improvements can be made.
We were active writers and facilitators of the Massachusetts World Language Curriculum Framework Revision, incorporating the student voice in Commonwealth directives for world language education.
We also commissioned 2 statewide surveys and conducted focus groups and interviews with students to color in the data. The World Language Survey gained 245 responses, largely across 6 schools of different sizes and locations within the Commonwealth.
We also had successful legislative outreach, getting the endorsement of U.S. Senator Ed Markey. With our vast year of research, we're hopeful that you will take our recommendations seriously and work with us to implement them across the Commonwealth.
First, world language and English learner education should not be 2 separate entities. We found much overlap in the goals of these 2 language programs in education and advise more integration.
From our focus groups and surveys, world language students want more opportunities to be involved with world languages outside the classroom. 58% of respondents to our survey indicated a desire for more real-world language use, and over 2/3 named conversation abilities the most important skill they want to build in a world language class.
Likewise, English learner students also want more opportunities to improve their English conversational skills, especially for schools with higher populations of English learner students. Schools should offer clubs and activities that allow world language students to interact with English learner students.
We recommend two-way peer tutoring being incorporated into existing tutoring networks. Many schools already have peer tutoring in place through National Honor Society or other organizations. Implementing two-way peer tutoring where the same student pair can teach each other the language they are most comfortable with will allow for more student bonding and will empower English learner students.
It is especially important to empower English learner students given the data that DESE has collected. Only a quarter of Seal by Literacy recipients are English learner students, even though all of them are automatically eligible to be considered for it. We also strongly believe that world language education should incorporate social justice ideals. For the purposes of our work, we have embraced the words of researcher Sonia Nieto, that social justice is, quote, a philosophy, an approach, and actions that embody treating all people with fairness, respect, dignity, and generosity. This should be emphasized in classrooms in line with the new world language curriculum framework, with teachers encouraging students to explore issues of social equality in their communities and throughout the world through discussion.
Beyond discussion, students are eager for opportunities to implement social justice initiatives in their communities, with 53% of world language students desiring more opportunities for community involvement and half wanting foreign exchange opportunities.
Schools should be encouraged to set up cultural advocacy clubs with the support of world language departments, and world language teachers should provide extracurricular opportunities to use language skills for social good.
We also want to reinforce the shift that world language and English learner education are taking away from grammar-based learning. Students expressed strong disagreement with this style of teaching, saying that being nitpicky about grammar discouraged struggling students from participating in class, further hampering their learning.
A majority of students, 51%, indicated that a challenge their world language program faced was that students were not confident enough to use their target language. Students should be judged on their ability to communicate a message in their target language to promote more engagement, with little emphasis on correct grammatical details in beginner and intermediate levels.
In line with the shift, we highly encourage immersion-style learning. All of our focus groups indicated a strong appreciation for the quick progress afforded by this type of instruction. Countless students indicated a desire to start language learning earlier in elementary and middle school, a call we endorse given the proven benefits of growing up with a second language.
We also call on schools to expand their offering of world languages. While difficult, a majority of students surveyed, 54%, indicated this lack of options was a challenge their school faced, more so than any other challenge that we listed in our survey. More variety of world languages allows students to be more passionate about the language they pick and make it more useful for their careers.
Moreover, schools should provide more cultural events to engage world language and English learner students in their communities. English learner students in particular face disproportionately more challenges at home and face higher levels of social isolation. World language students are eager to have more cultural education. 42% directly indicated a desire for more of a cultural emphasis in their education.
Cultural events such as potlucks and celebrations fill a need for both world language and English learner students and allow them to come together.
World language and English learner programs are imperative to the success of our students. U.S. Senator Ed Markey called our efforts, quote, essential to our state's educational process, and we couldn't agree more given the globalizing world we inhabit. We hope that MAFLA, DESE, and individual school districts will work vigilantly to take our recommendations into account and implement them. This is the end of our formal year under DESE. You'll still be marching forward to make sure that these recommendations are heard and implemented. We can be reached through our Instagram at Global Outreach Network. We will post these findings for over 200 followers throughout the Commonwealth to see and learn from. We can also be reached through email at globaloutreachmass@gmail.com. Thank you for your support
of our initiatives
and empowering the student voice.
This is only
the beginning
of the fight for better world language education.
And we look forward to
future progress made off of our
accomplishments this year.
谢谢。